Every day we make plans, and sometimes those plans come true, and sometimes those plans don't. What are you going to do about that? Hi everyone, my name is Fatmanan. Welcome to Growing with Fatmanan. Here I talk about transformation because I believe transformation is the key to us living our best lives. Scripture in Romans chapter 12 verse 2 says, "Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect." Sometimes the problem is the way we see things, is the way we think. And when sometimes some things don't work for us, the way we react to it is a function of how our mind works. When we look at the word transformation, transformation is basically a marked change in form, the nature, and appearance of things. So we are looking at the form of the thing, how it is shaped. We are looking at the nature, what it is made up of, and we are looking at appearance. How does it look? So those three things are the things that are key when we talk about transformation. So when you can change the form of something, you can change the nature of something, and you can change the appearance of something, then it will change the way that thing, the properties and characteristics of that thing. So sometimes when we go through some certain experiences and some certain situations, what happens is that we most times look at things that don't work out for us by lashing out. Sometimes we get emotional, this doesn't work out, and we tend to lash out at either the things, ourselves, or other people. But all that, from what we see in transformation, is a function of our minds and how our minds work. Transformation is about changing the dictate of how we react to those things. Because once you can see it differently, then you'll be able to react to some certain things differently. And sometimes it's we ourselves, we need to change our perspective of looking at things. It's just like if I'm looking at the world through a glass that is reddish, I'll think the whole world is reddish. If I'm looking at the world through a glass that is bluish, I'll see the whole world as bluish. And whatever color it is, the lens in which I look at the world through, I'll see the world like that. So if you can change the way you see things, then you see things differently. And we see in Proverbs, there's where it says that a man makes his plans, but the Lord directs his ways. So when we look at things from the precept and from the concept that God is directing our steps, we make our plans, but He directs our steps. And when we know that the steps of the righteous are ordered by God, in as much as some certain things happen to us, then we can look at it from the lens as perhaps God is working in my life. Perhaps God is diverting me from this for a particular reason. We also see scripture tells us that all things work together for good for those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. So you look at yourself sometimes when things are happening. Am I called according to the purpose of God? If you are sure within your spirit that you are doing things and based on how your relationship with God is, you are sure you are called according to His purpose, you'll know that even those things that don't work out for you will still, in the bigger picture, work for your good. And when you begin to see things like that, then you'll begin to react differently to things that work out and things that don't work out for you. And one of the stories that I would like to share that really changed my perspective on transformation and how to look at situations with faith, knowing that God is involved in your process, is found in the book of Daniel, chapter 3. When we talk about the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, most times when we look at that story, we see it from the perspective that these three Hebrew boys were brave boys. They could stand for what they believed in. But there's another twist to that whole story that made me reflect, because the whole story is about King Nebuchadnezzar saying that nobody will worship any other god apart from his for a period of time. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego decided to continue worshiping their God. And when King Nebuchadnezzar later found out, there was a tussle, and he told them if they won't worship his own God, he will cast them into the burning furnace. And their response to him really changed my perspective in how I look at things when they don't work out for me. They said something, they said, "O king, we won't worship your God because if you throw us into this furnace," I'm paraphrasing here, "their God will deliver them." And the father said that even if he doesn't, we will not worship your God. Do you know the level of faith that it took them to say something like that? Even if he doesn't, that is, God will do it. Their plan is that God will save them. They know all the promises that God has given them is that he will save them from that situation. But again, their resolve went to the extent of saying that even if God doesn't save them, they won't bow down and worship Nebuchadnezzar's God. That is, they were already sure of what they were and who they were and their convictions that even if it doesn't happen the way they think or plan it to be, they are sure that their steps is being directed by God. And they know that the whole situation will work for their own good. And we see that great miracles happen after you make that resolve, that even when things don't work in your favor, you still remain in faith. Because we saw that when they went in, they got delivered. And when they were brought out, Nebuchadnezzar had no option than to make the whole kingdom worship their God, including himself. Thus, we see that they had a resolve that God can save me, but even if he doesn't save me, I'll still remain in faith. So their resolve was not to start lashing out at other people, to start blaming God for putting them in that situation, for them to start blaming themselves for trying to hold firm to their resolve. No, their resolve was not to lash out, but their resolve was to remain consistent in their faith. And that is a transformative life. That is the life that has changed its form, it has changed its nature, and it has changed its appearance. And when you change your life from within, it further changes the way you see things without. And that is the life of transformation. So today, I want to urge and encourage each one of us to go in the life of transformation of the Spirit of God. And whenever things work in our favor or don't work in our favor, we should know that God is at play in the larger picture of our lives. And holistically, in the long run, all things will work together for our good. And in as much as we make our plans, He directs our ways. And that's my message for today. Thank you and have a nice day. And please, subscribe to my channel, like this video, share, and I will love it if you can comment on how this message has taught you, or what insight, or what you can add, or what you would like me to talk about next. Thank you, and I wish you a very nice day. Peace.